G'day everyone, welcome back to Zero Access Footy. Of course, we've got a lot of football that we're going to talk about this week, but the big news is something that's just come over the weekend into the new week that we're going to get stuck into straight away because it's a very serious incident. Of course, you're going to probably hear a lot of other people that you may watch or that you may talk with talk about the scenario. It's still ongoing and a lot to talk about, but of course, the situation with the 5 Sydney players involved, I believe 4 of them are named and the 5th hasn't been named, although I think we know who it is.
What's interesting is that last night with the reports, it came out that there were 5 people named. Now this morning, late last night actually, it came out that one of the players who was named didn't actually speak to the police and that he wants his name taken out. And all of the reporting since then has been then without his name. So as far as everyone is aware, if you have seen the rumours about what has happened, apparently they are false. Again, as we always say, they are alleged, they are rumours. There is no facts given yet, aside from stupid shit happened. I think that's the most fair thing to say.
Yeah, it's honestly, of course it's very touchy, and I want to make it very clear, at least on our end, that any type of sexual abuse, which seems to be or sexual assault, I should say, that's going on here, highly condemned. I really hope that there's a big misunderstanding.
It doesn't seem to be, though.
Yeah, exactly right. I think with something this serious, we'll go through the timeline of events. I just wanted to make it clear that that's where I'm putting most of my thoughts. But of course, it's an ongoing scenario, and we want to understand what's going on as any situation like this would be. So Tom Morris has been kind of the lead reporter on all of this.
Yeah. Well, yeah. What I found interesting is that the reporting, Tom Morris released a report at 12 o'clock yesterday, and then Jay Clark as well in the Herald Sun officially broke down like the major parts of the story before more information revealed, which meant that there was an embargo made by Sydney for reporters until 12 o'clock, obviously on the day, meaning they knew exactly what had happened and had said to the media, we have to control how this comes out. So Sydney knew. Sydney knew everything. Maybe not everything, but Sydney knew at least the major details before this got released.
Yeah,
so
and apparently they had been cooperating with the AFL in regards to what had happened. So they weren't trying to hide it in any way, which I think is good. But of course, there's still loads of details. And considering it's a lot of perceived he said, she said, it's good that no one has outright gotten or started pointing fingers per se. But of course, Sydney immediately came out. Matthew Pavlich fronted the media and said that he's I believe the words were extremely disappointed and frustrated. I don't know if those are the exact words he used. I can look them up right now, so I'm not taking the wrong words out of his mouth. But that being said, no one in Sydney is trying to defend what's happened. No. It feels like extremely disappointed was the word Dean Cox used.
Yeah. Obviously, we have no idea what the inner sanctum of footy clubs look like, and we don't know what the operations are after a game day. But looking from the outside and having an understanding of what elite level spots operate in at different levels, like in the Premier League, in different areas in Europe and in America with NBA, NFL, all that. For a team, and specifically a fair chunk of the team, what seems like has been reported by Tom Morris, to be partying the night after a game up until, for some, 3 o'clock, for some later, I find so ridiculous and almost hard to believe that this still happens in 2026. Because it's not like, oh, we came back at like 1 or 2 in the morning. It was a big night, but, you know, whatever happened, we just celebrated finishing second because they locked in second over the weekend.
Yeah.
I find it hard to believe that some of the players were out until at least 4 a.m. and then they didn't stop. They continued to go. I genuinely don't understand how that still happens in a professional league when these players are earning millions of dollars.
I think it's a modern day thing, very much so. I think when you think back into the past, that type of stuff seemed to be all right. Even the one that I always go to in terms of rowdy playing groups that got themselves in a bit of trouble was the 2010 Magpies, the one that won the premiership, because I believe in the seasons prior, before they eventually did win that premiership, managed to get everything working for a period of time, they were always in some type of trouble. There were some weird stories about Alan Didak hanging out with really, really strange people back in the day. And then even further than that, West Coast.
Yeah, in the
so
mid-2000s.
It's been so long since, at least it feels like, that whole entire playing group. There's been individuals and maybe even a group of two, but this is a seemingly big group of players that have gotten themselves caught up here.
Yeah.
Let's get stuck into the timeline of events just so people understand, in case you don't actually know the proper details of what's being reported. It says here the players that are being mentioned all went out to various locations and they got back just after midnight, a few of them. There's others that are mentioned outright. James Jordan is one here at 2:15 in the morning. He got back with 3 other senior players who have not been mentioned at 2:30, so 15 minutes afterwards. Heaney, Warner, and another player got back. And then at 3:40 in the morning, Nick Blakey arrived back. Of course, this was before he had mentioned that he did not want to be named and he was not involved with this scenario. So him being named here is an interesting selection. But again, like you mentioned, it's the question of, is it right to say the culture of the club? Is it right? Because these are senior players. The execs of the clubs are very disappointed. Dean Cox as well. His words were extremely disappointed, and they seem to be very upset with what's happened here. That's such speculation. I don't even want to dive into that.
What I find so strange is there's an ironic situation where John Longmire has recently come out with a book, and it's a lot about the culture and building that culture in Sydney, what's known as like the Bloods culture. It's not like there was 3 or 4 players were doing it. It was just one small section of a playing group. It's not even like it was 19-year-olds in their first season. This is up to potentially 10 players who, because there are many that have not been named in this, that have gone out, stayed out, and done some stupid things, and then have continued to do it. That I as I said, I'm just so surprised that this still happens. Because like there's Arsene Wenger in when he got appointed to Arsenal manager in 1997, his entire thing was no more drinking mid-season. We're becoming fresh. We're stopping doing the partying. We're stopping all this. And was essentially a trailblazer in that, because especially in the Premier League, people were doing drugs, people were smoking, people were drinking mid-season after the games.
Yeah.
And then the reason Arsenal was so successful is because they became so much fitter than everyone else. They were able to be fitter, they were able to be faster, and they were able to recover better. So for that to then happen here, I don't know, man. I'm just so shocked.
And it just sucks. It sucks. Not even talking footy perspective because it's irrelevant in this scenario, but this stuff is just the pinnacle of what you shouldn't be doing as a professional. It really is. Like, forget the enjoying a win type scene. Like, why are you getting yourself involved in such a strange place? Yeah. Like, again, we don't know these people on a personal level or what they do in their spare time, but it's fair to say that this, with the level of professionalism they need to be at, is way out of line. Some other things I want to mention here so we don't leave out any parts. The alleged victims arrived at the hotel just after 4 a.m. And there were quotes that were published to the media saying that the witness believed that they had said, "Can the manager come and talk to me?" Or the witnesses had mentioned that, and let us up into the room or we will call the police. So they were very, very serious in regards to something bad happening here. And yeah, apparently around 7:30 a.m., the feeling in the hotel lobby, I believe it was pandemonium is the word they're using. So very, very hectic. Again, it seems like they were on red alert, it feels like, internally at the Sydney club. But I think it's just very fair to say what's happened here is unacceptable. And I think anyone who does decide to talk about it amongst each other and within media settings should come to the acceptance that Sydney is a football club, just can't be talked about. It's these individuals. So it's these individuals.
Was that reported by Tom Morris?
Tom Morris. This is the timeline reported by Tom Morris.
Yeah, so I remember him saying that he spoke to people, or someone reached out to him who witnessed this. They were in the lobby when it happened. So again, all of this is alleged. We still don't know what happened. The repercussions for this, for Sydney's season, the players are going to have to be put on indefinite leave.
Yeah, there's no way that any of these guys are playing.
If you want to look at it in one way, they've got essentially 2 weeks now to try get this over with so that they're back for finals. But I find it very hard to believe that everything's going to be done in 2 weeks.
Yeah, you got to take your time with this stuff.
And
there's no one to blame but themselves.
Absolutely.
I very much don't like talking about stuff like this.
Yeah,
of course, because it's more of a moral question than the footy that we like to talk about. But I think it's very important that this stuff does get talked about as much as it is just two blokes on a podcast talking about footy. This stuff is important to keep in public matters and in public mind because it's just it feels like common sense. Just I mean, be respectful.
Yeah, and once again, now it's a police matter. We are not policemen. We have no more room to say.
We have zero access from this point on, and in total. But let's go into the footy because when we talk about footy in round 23, we had a pretty decent round. I feel like up there for one of the best rounds of the year so far.
It was entertaining.
Very much.
It really was.
The first game we're going to have a chat about, not one that brings me much joy, but I think as a neutral, what a game. North Melbourne versus Geelong. I got really sucked in after that first quarter. I got so sucked in. I was keen. I was like, oh my God, this is so exciting. And then the second quarter, it's like the script flipped back on its head. I literally said to myself, I'm watching both sides of North Ball. I'm watching both sides. The fun, exciting, energetic, straight through the ground, aggressive style that makes people go, oh, look, North have improved. And then the defensive side, I think this was the worst defensive game I've seen outside of the Freo game all season. Like, it was bad. I'm watching blokes consistently miss 15-metre across the ground kicks to try and switch the play, and it just immediately brings that Geelong pressure. They weren't stopping them. The only people stopping Geelong were Geelong themselves. Ollie Dempsey snapped it into the post from 5 metres out. Mark Blitzarves nearly skied it in front of goal. Like, it was a very, very gettable opportunity for North Melbourne, and of course I'm talking from a North Melbourne perspective. But Geelong, good on them for making the adjustments. I think while it's a common sight to see teams adjust to North Melbourne accordingly, they found themselves in a big, big hole and looked really good from then on.
It was such a back and forth game after halftime. Like I didn't get to watch the first half. You can say that as a good thing. You can say that as a bad thing. But like, this is the sort of games you want to see out of North Melbourne more.
Yeah, very much.
Like you maybe look at this and like you go, well, after quarter time, the scores were 119 to 66. It's like, it's not great. But then at the same time, you can also say, well, Geelong kicked, if we want to take out the first quarter, you take out the second quarter as well. And it's, again, basically the same thing.
That second quarter is where all that damage was made, is what realistically is the point to take from this. But second half, super competitive second half, wild first half. That's what I'm saying as a neutral. You can't help but love this game. High scoring too. This is the type of game that the AFL really want to make happen more often.
Absolutely.
So I guess from their perspective, they're like, what a game. They can clip farm the hell out of it, whatever they want to do. But some individuals that I want to point out. First off, I'll talk Harry Sheasel. Holy hell, the shine of that bloke has on his eye. That was wild.
Going in for surgery
so
today.
Inconspicuous too. I think he copped a free kick, but he would not take the free kick. He sprinted off the field immediately. He knew something was up, and evidently so, because the damage really shows. Individually, I think the goal score, Blitzarves had a ripper. Blitzarves was all over it. Dangerfield did a really good job just creating chaos and opportunities. That goes the same with Manor. Goes the same with Dempsey. There's just loads that I could talk about in terms of really good performances. I think Humphreys did pretty all right too. Mitch Edwards held his own. I think accurate in front and had a few hit-outs. Didn't look too much out of place. And then Shannon Neal did his usual thing. I'm trying to think of any negatives for Geelong, but there's not really. I guess, well, Ollie Wiltshire came off pretty early, so statistically speaking, that's understandable. Polkinghorne, again, he looks to just capitalise on fantastic moments. He will be a genuine mainstay for Geelong, I reckon, or someone will poach him and see the potential in him, because I think Polkinghorne is making a bit of a name for himself. But again, for me, the backline let North Melbourne down big time in this game. It's really as simple as that. On top of the fact that inside 50 was really poor. I think Wardlaw got a lot of centre bounce attempts at kicking it inside 50, and I can't remember a single one he hit up. I really can't. Yeah. I know Colby McKercher would do it occasionally. I know Simpkin had a ripper. But as much as I love Wardlaw, and he did all the things that you love Wardlaw doing, it was his ball use inside 50, and I'm thinking, if that was Sheasel inside 50, maybe there's a difference. Of course, LDU kind of copped a little half tag from O'Sheen Mullen, which a lot of teams are starting to do with North Melbourne, is try and take the hard ball, get out. I think while there were so many positives from the forward line, North finally got good positive forward line attention.
12 goals.
Yeah, Larky kicked 5 and he was kicking him.
Finally.
He was kicking him the way that I remember him doing it. Like, it was good to see him get his confidence back, and some rippers too. Darling with 4.
Yeah.
Curtis maybe the only negative with only 1, but at the same time, he kind of had the same Dangerfield role where at least he created like packs.
2 goal assists.
Exactly right. So like, he was doing things that were really good. It was a fantastic offensive game, but defensively it was so poor. I was really upset with Chom at the time, but then looking statistically, Daniel and Logue were so much worse. Chom annoyed me because he'd do things that you go like, bro, you should know not to run right into the bloke taking the mark, looking away from the ball. Like, that's just basic knowledge. But he's so reckless, he's got to do it.
Zerha at least had a good game.
Zerha looked strong. He still
had a couple big marks.
He still had a couple moments, though. He was one of those perpetrators of the ones who couldn't kick 15 metres. Yeah. It was actually infuriating. But, I think it was just a full backline misperformance from the second quarter onwards. I could ramble forever about this game, really. I was I don't
think anybody wants to listen to that.
Moment, unless you want to see me cry, which I'm not going to do.
Well, it's not the worst thing.
It could be drawing for the second time in the same season, the first time it's ever happened. That's a great photo, by the way. Nick Watson, or is that Nick Watson?
That's
Dylan Moore. God, Billy Brampton towers over and made it look like Nick Watson. Either way, Moore's miss, didn't score after the siren confirmed. Yet another draw. 92 apiece.
These script writers might be the greatest thing that has happened all season.
They've cooked this season, I'll give them that. They've cooked.
They are going crazy. I don't think I've seen something like this almost in any sport.
In the finals?
Could you imagine if we get this in like an elimination final?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Hawthorn's currently sitting at 4th. They play West Coast next, so presumably they will lock in top 4 next week if all things go the way they should. But, of course, Geelong have the chance to pip them. And so I think Hawthorn just have to win that game. There's just no ifs, ands or buts about it. This is an interesting little scenario potentially for the future.
I feel for Dylan Moore. I just feel for him. Like, he did it last time. And obviously they wouldn't have to win because it was just a draw. But, like, I feel like he didn't know that he had it on the siren. Like, I feel like he knew it was like getting low, but he didn't know that it was actually on the siren.
Because you think on the siren, you just aim for the nearest point side.
Yeah.
But he ended up kicking the long point side. So, I mean, it's not like we can really be questionable. At the end of the day, it's a big kick.
Yeah.
Like on the boundary line from 50.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just like, this game was so crazy to watch. I'm like just in awe of what happened, to be honest. And also, the scores were almost identical. Wasn't it like 93-93 last time?
Very close last time. I was thinking that when I saw that it was 92-92. I went like, that seems awfully familiar to something. But I think a lot of the talk about this game has been the youth of Collingwood stepping up in this one. Sam Swaddling, I know, got a lot of raps.
Yeah, 93-93.
Yeah, for such a fantastic performance. Nick Dacos is doing his usual thing. I'm pretty certain he's a wrap for Brownlow at this point. He's just remained the only consistent top performer of his club every single game.
You want to know what's nuts? Apparently he's like going to poll 47 votes according to some people right now.
Maybe. There's no youth attacking him. They've been winning enough to put him in. The thing is, it's the perfect little recipe is like one of those 5 to 8 finishes where like you are consistently the best player for a team that's getting enough wins to be considered for getting 3 votes regularly, but also at the same time no one's pinching them off you as much as others would.
He doesn't have anyone to take them off him.
Exactly right. So maybe like umpires go, Rowan Steele stepped up big time. Maybe we'll give him 3 instead of Dacos. But it's just there's too much of a reach for stuff like that. There's just too much of a reach. Dacos puts himself in the right scenarios, racks up statistics. Plays in big games, lots of wins, or at least enough wins to not only get him to finals, but get him in consideration for those high polling Brownlow games. And he's probably pinched some from losses too. Like, there's very much a chance that that's the case. Yeah. So I think Dacos is very safely the Brownlow favourite right now, unless who would be the one to pinch it from him this year? Maybe Dawson?
I genuinely couldn't tell you. I don't think there's someone arguably within 10 votes of him.
There's a very good chance.
Arguably 15.
I used to think it was Bont, Dawson and Dacos all there together, but those two have tapered off as the season continued.
He might win this in like round 18.
Oh, God. Could you imagine? Jeez.
That's how insane
it's going to be an interesting night. Either way, we got to stop talking about this because I can hear him. I can hear his smile. I can hear the producer's smile back there. He's thinking, first of 6. Like, he's thinking that kind of way. But I'm pretty sure I heard him clapping. Either way, look, point being, fantastic game. Yeah, back 100%. And forth. I think there was a moment where Hawthorn looked ready to lose it, but 5 goals in a row kicked their way back into it, and then Collingwood managed to even the score up as well. Just overall, exactly the type of footy we want to see. That's what I'm saying. It's a sleeper for one of the best rounds of the year.
Yeah.
Because not only did we get 2 draws of the same team in the same season, we got 2 draws in one round as well. Like, very interesting scenario. But, of course, the worst possible scenario for you. I feel like Jagger Smith celebrating a draw is going to live in your fan base's head forever.
Fuck Jagger Smith. The umpire calling running too far is the worst call of the year. Like, not even close.
Not even close?
Not even close. I don't care if you're around 50 metres. You do not pay that.
I think it's
you do not pay that.
I think it's big cope, mate. Come on. Yeah, weird scenario where St Kilda was cheering on the Dogs big time in this one. But, yeah, good on the Dogs, I guess, for at least making it really, really competitive without Tim English, without Bond. Richard stepped up, I think, in a big way for these guys. Phenomenal. I had a feeling Libba would have a fantastic game considering he needed to step up. But there was a lot of step-ups from Carlton players in this one. Your usuals, Cripps and Walsh and all those guys. But Billy Wilson was huge on the back line.
He had double the rating than the next best player, Ed Richards.
That just sounds right. He's capable of doing that, though, on a regular basis.
That is unreal.
2 goals, 30 possessions. He's that close to a Sacramento.
That is unreal. He had the best player rating of the round.
Yeah, the Dogs are relying on so many youngsters, though, that just don't feel like they're up to scratch just yet. Like, I'm looking at a few of them. Jakes has been okay this season, but he also has the tendency to kind of go quiet. I've liked Selwood for the most part, but again, similar scenario where you can occasionally have a bit of a quieter game. Cooper Hines had big ones and didn't play all too bad, but I'm looking at the bottom here. Louis Emmett, who only had 40% game time, so maybe that's unfair on him. But James O'Donnell played the whole game. Did he look all right out there?
No.
Yeah, didn't think so.
It wasn't too bad on Mackay. I gave away a lot of free kicks, though.
Yeah.
One thing I'm infuriating at, the amount of misses that the Dogs had directly in front of goal.
I wouldn't have
Aaron Norton
well, that's Aaron
needs to learn how to kick properly.
The hatred of Aaron Norton has risen to the top again. You used to be on a path where you thought he was the most overrated player in the league. I could literally see as the year was going on, he's playing pretty well actually as a recent. And now when you needed him most.
Straight back.
Oh my God.
He had 3 of the easiest goals he could have possibly kicked. He missed them all. He kicks one of them and they win. Cody Waitman, the same thing. Missed from 20 metres out directly in front.
12 goals, 10 too. So, like, it sounds and looks like they were kicking accurately up until when they really, should have gotten the easy ones. It's like they needed to kick them from more difficult angles in order to kick him through the big sticks.
Hardy Jones as well, kicked 1 goal, 3. Aaron Norton kicked 0 goals, 3.
I feel like if we hang on to this game for too long, it's going to become a big problem for you. But both teams probably benefit the most from this game. Dogs lock in at least 9th. And Carlton lock in a wildcard spot. Yeah. So these guys won't see each other, presumably, in the first wildcard round. But, we're getting a clearer and clearer picture, and this one just kind of made things almost set in stone. So at this rate, it's probably going to be the Dogs versus Collingwood and the Blues versus the Crows. Or it could be anyone from 7 to... I'm glad I'm saying 7 to 6. Geelong and Adelaide seem to be the best case scenario. or it seemed to be the most likely scenario, I should say, for that 7th position. But that is the round 23 look. Of course, we've got plenty of other games we can have a quick look at as well. Just the one Friday night game, of course, I had a talk about that. Be sure to check that out if you haven't already on the channel, which most likely you have due to how well those videos are performing. Freo took that one by 24 and locked in top spot. Your Saints managed to beat the Tigers, had a bit of hope that wildcard was still alive, didn't work out. Yeah. Lions did their usual thing against the Suns, putting them out of their misery. The Dees thumped the Power. I hoped that this game would be a bit more competitive, but Melbourne showing that they are a lot more of a reliable team. GWS with a more predictable score. They actually beat the Eagles by 54, which I think a lot of people would have expected with a team with this much talent, but who knows with GWS. And of course, the Swans beat the Bombers by 36 points at the MCG. So that is round 23. But some other big news. Did you know that Carlton love Josh Fraser?
I did.
You sure?
I didn't know this much.
They have already officially locked him in as Carlton coach. Hard to say that he doesn't deserve it. It really is hard to say.
Yeah, 11-2.
I'm still under the impression that he's playing the long-term game as an ex-Collingwood player. So he's like signing long-term to eventually ruin the club. But look, it is undeniable he is having a fantastic... our producers having fun looking at old Josh Fraser. He played for Gold Coast.
I had no idea that he played for Gold Coast.
He must have been part of their inaugural side or something like that, right? Yeah. He must have moved across from Collingwood to play for them early days. But yeah, just Collingwood player doing Collingwood things, it feels like at this moment. But he has locked in big time for the next... because he's signed on. What's his contract looking like?
3-year deal.
3-year deal. So, yeah, he's played the long term. He's played it to perfection. I can't wait for Carlton to be bottom for the next 3 years. But like we said, 11-2 with the draw in there now.
Yep.
Turned a 1-8 side into a finals team. Definitely helps the whole wildcard case because this would not have happened last season. But, these guys are giving themselves a bit of hope. And I'm interested to see where Fraser takes them in the wildcard series. Would you say that they're favourites against either Adelaide or Geelong? Because I'm leaning they could be maybe against Adelaide.
No, absolutely. Adelaide, absolutely not.
I don't know. They're not. They only beat Richmond by 9 points over there. Sure, in a scrappy game. But I think a team like Carlton, who are a bit more clean than Richmond would be, could put a team like that over the line.
Nah.
I think Geelong is a bit more of a miss, especially at GMHBA.
No, it wouldn't be at GMHBA. What do you want about it? It'd be at the G.
Yeah, I guess it would be. It's technically a final. I'm thinking that maybe they would.
They don't even in the regular season. They play home and away season. They play them at the G, so it'd be at the G.
Yeah, fair enough.
I think Carlton play really well against Geelong, whereas I don't think they'd play very well in Adelaide.
Oh, you're the opposite of me. Okay, interesting. I get where you're coming from with the whole home ground advantage, but God, it feels like whoever comes up against Carlton is going to have to bring their best. And I think with the way...
bring your best against everyone.
I get that. But more the sake that if they came up against the Dogs, they'd be feeling a bit more easy. It's like it's better off finishing 8th than 9th here.
Yeah, I think that's...
8th and 7th here. Yeah. So Collingwood somehow have found themselves in the best spot out of the entire wildcard race, it feels like. Either way, I'm interested to see how his future looks because obviously he's safe next season.
What I found so interesting is that it's... you could see it almost in like a lose-lose scenario for this. They either appointed him and then he'd have to live up to a 10-2 record for next season. So they're basically saying, no, you have to be good next year.
I was going to say, they have to be top 8 now with the way that Josh Fraser has set things up. Right. And they've beaten Brisbane. They've beaten
Geelong.
Geelong, that was a big one. Who else have they beaten in here?
Don't think anyone else. I think that's about it.
Because a lot of them, obviously the draw, they had the draw, and they beat the Bulldogs to get it all kicked off. They had beaten St Kilda. They've beaten a lot of lower teams as well. I think they pumped Port Adelaide. Oh, no, they didn't pump Port Adelaide. They just got over the line, but in Port Adelaide or in Adelaide Oval. Either way, games that they easily could have lost previously under Michael Voss and under that cloud of pressure. Josh Fraser has managed to lift the lid on this side in a way I can't remember seeing for a really long time. Like, my thinking was there was a lot of hype around Reece Shaw back in, and this is North Melbourne bias again, because he actually turned the team into something watchable.
Did he?
Don't go saying that. Sorry, that was a bit wild. This is, way above that, though. Of course, Reece Shaw, again, like I said, North Melbourne bias, but he gave the club a little bit of hope at the time. Of course, he never signed on long term, I think due to personal reasons. But Josh Fraser is a whole 1, 2, 3 levels over what hype that there was around then. Because, from 1-8 to finals, man, I'll never get over that stat line because I don't remember something like that ever
Sydney
in a
were
season.
0-6 and made finals.
Yeah, they made finals. Yeah, that's a fair point. I guess it's all up to how the rest of the season turns out. How far do you reckon they could go? Do you think they?
Not far.
Do you think it's a max elimination final?
Yeah. And my question is, if I'm Fraser, they have already come out and said we didn't want to announce it until the pressure was off, and we'd basically he didn't want to be in the race because they wanted the pressure off. The pressure's on. Yeah. And my question is, does he want to be good now and follow that? No, I think we can be a really good team right now. Or does he think he needs to be middle of the pack for a few years and be able to slowly rebuild the list or retool the list?
Yeah.
That's
the problem that we talked about originally with the wild card as well. It made clubs fall into a false sense of security.
If there was no wild card, he'd be 11-2 so far this year. But at the same time, let's check 10th. On the ladder. They're 10th and they wouldn't be able to finish in the top 8.
Yeah.
So they'd have literally no reason to go in because they wouldn't have made finals before this year.
Here's the thing. There is such a barrier between when Voss was coaching and when Fraser was coaching that I think they genuinely believe with the way that he's gotten this team to galvanise together, next season they will be top 8.
I think it's so difficult to see because you've got so much range in what it is. Like you had the Voss era being so bad that it's yes, you're obviously not that bad. It's just you have to sort of move on from him. But then you've got Fraser being that good that it's
are they overachieving here?
Is it overachieving? Is it just the pressure is so off? Obviously, the pressure is going to be phenomenally high next year from this, especially if they do win a wild card.
It also makes me think, do they manage to keep some of their blokes around? Because I know Jacob Wiedering was always on the edge with this club. Does he now go, maybe I actually want to stay? Is there other players who maybe have tasting the water going, no, I want to be a part of what Carlton's building here? They've built themselves a really, really nice, I guess, temporary culture, if that makes sense. Like a feeling of we're building something here. So, and you would not have thought that after the first few games of this season. You would have thought everyone wanted out. You would have thought, man, those poor Sydney players who got traded to Carlton are thinking, this is the worst time of my life. So this is a really, really positive scenario. I think, of course, it's going to be up to how it goes next year, but you're playing with house money at the moment. No one thought you'd be here.
No, absolutely not.
I genuinely believe they could go as far as a semi. I think they could go to a semi-final.
I think that's a bit
I hope so at least, because otherwise I feel like the wild card is even more of what it could be as a failure. If they manage to win out of the elimination final, that could be exciting.
If you have Adelaide versus Carlton and then you got Collingwood versus the Western Bulldogs, Adelaide win, Collingwood win, you almost have to say that it was just there for the sake of being there.
It was there for the sake of making the season, making the regular season feel more impactful.
Yep.
Because this time last year, and I know we've gone way over the amount of time we wanted to talk about this, but this time last year, Fraser, I hardly know her.
Really, mate?
Look how bored he looks in that right side. That's a goated photo. But the point I was making is that this time last year, it would have been dead air right now in terms of teams like this. It would have been a nice story, but it wouldn't have been anything to talk about. So there's the positive with that with the wild card.
I don't want to talk about Carlton, so I'd rather that. Let's move on.
Angry Saints fan.
Whilst there is nothing to play for the wildcard round, there is still plenty of movement that could happen in round 24 in regards to top 4, top 6, and the actual games in the wildcard round. Kicking it off, we will be talking about Collingwood versus Brisbane. I find this and the Hawthorn versus West Coast game to be the 2 games for top 4 because Brisbane should win. I think Collingwood are likely to rest a lot of players. And then, obviously, Hawthorn versus West Coast, you'd almost back Hawthorn in. If Brisbane win by, let's say, 20 points and Hawthorn win by 60 points, Hawthorn go above Brisbane on the ladder and finish 3rd instead of Brisbane.
Yeah.
So if I'm Brisbane, I'm coming out and I am absolutely putting the sword to this Collingwood team.
Yeah. I mean, who would they play? They'd play a Sydney first week.
It's either play Sydney in first week of finals, well, technically second, but really first week of finals.
Yep.
Or play Fremantle in Fremantle.
Yeah.
Right now, what would you rather do?
There's a very clear team you would rather be playing.
What would you rather do?
I think Brisbane are going to put everything into this game.
Yeah.
Everything into this game. Only healthy bodies. Play your guts out. If you're losing at halftime, the biggest spray they've ever been given by Fags.
There will be so much on the line if they don't get up in this. And arguably significantly.
The fact that if you don't win this, you're relying on West Coast
to play well.
You're hoping that West Coast bring you over the line. You're clearly in a bad position.
Yep.
But, there's a very clear outcome here, and I cannot believe after how poor they looked midway through the season. They look like the second best team in the comp at the very least right now.
Hot take, they still look like the best team.
They really are, man.
Still look like the best team.
I hate that you're probably right because Freo still have that tendency to make games closer for longer than they should be. But, of course, they're still playing the best brand of football that the league is seeing at the moment. Man, it's gonna be Brisbane Freo in the granny, isn't it? It's gonna be. It has to be.
Has to be.
Well, this is a big scenario. I'm going to go Lions take this one. Could you imagine if they pump them too?
That would be
Would Collingwood care?
Nah. they really wouldn't.
I'm going to go Brisbane by 60. I think they just do it. I think they just go screw it. We're putting them to death.
I'll go Brizzy by 41.
We're putting them to death. I don't know. Take this, Nick Dacos. You can have your Brownlow. But you're getting absolutely wrecked on the way.
Nick, you could have 30 kick-ins. Nothing else. How about
that? Demons versus Dogs. I cannot believe Demons. Man, there's some great storylines this season.
There is. They can still finish top 4.
Oh, man. Could you imagine the turnaround? We were all saying bottom 4 at the start of the season. Yeah. I know that this scenario and this conversation happens all the time with us, but yeah, they could be. Hawthorn lose to West Coast. Melbourne beat the Dogs. Melbourne top 4. Double chance Melbourne. Unbelievable. Of course, the Dogs, doesn't really matter what happens here. They're going to be playing at the MCG against Collingwood, most likely.
Yep.
I can only see this going one way.
Yeah. I mean, there is a world where they can fall down and potentially play Adelaide in Adelaide or something like that. But it's just like a really weird season.
I think, English won't be coming back.
No,
I'd say you'd still be resting Bonds.
Yeah, I would not be playing him at all in this game. And I'd almost not be playing Ed Richards in this game either.
There is a world where you think maybe they even rest him. Yeah. I was going to swing the other way and say Liberatore would take the rest because of how fragile he seems to be.
I might rest all of them.
We're bringing out the resis.
Jordan Croft, you could kick 3 goals 9. We don't care.
They'll bring out the resis for this one, I feel like. But, this is going to be interesting for Melbourne in particular. I'd like to see the Dogs make this an entertaining game, but I'm worried that this could be a really, really poor game.
Yeah. I'm probably leaning towards Melbourne by 20.
I think Melbourne will take it by more. You've got to think about how deadly
it
they're.
Depends. It just depends who plays.
Yeah, of course they don't have Van Rooyen. He's out for a bit of time. But the Dogs' defense struggles most of the time, and the Demons can get goal kickers from anywhere.
It depends who plays for the Western Bulldogs.
Yeah, it really does. I'm going to go Melbourne win this one by 45. I think they're going to blow it out a little.
I'm not going that far. As I said, I'll go about 20, but I do think Melbourne are pretty handy in this one. And then, I mean, we'll talk about both games because obviously, but Adelaide GWS has some meaning because do GWS want to play for a bit of pride and close out the year really well? Or do Adelaide just storm home and say, nah, we don't want to finish in the wild card. Let's hope other results go our way.
Well, who are they relying on? Geelong.
All the teams play before them.
Geelong will 100% be resting players, but not enough to make Richmond come and beat them.
The only game I believe that would affect them is potentially the Hawthorn in Melbourne. That's after them. Is the Hawthorn game.
Yeah. If the Dogs don't beat the Demons, then I don't think Adelaide are playing for all that much. I think it's 7th place, locked and loaded. But I mean, I would be trying my absolute best no matter what to get out of that 7th spot. I think Carlton's 100%. Very dangerous. It doesn't matter whether you have home ground advantage. We saw what that meant to him last season. Home ground advantage didn't mean anything to him last year. So
true.
These Crows are going to fight like hell to try and get themselves into that top 6 spot, I reckon, and just pray that one of the teams that are above them misstep here.
Yeah,
I think most likely is Melbourne.
There is a world if they win, they go above Hawthorn before Hawthorn play. There is a world.
I mean, yeah. If they beat GWS by enough.
But obviously then Hawthorn play West Coast.
Yes.
I do think Adelaide win, but I wouldn't be surprised if GWS cause an upset.
GWS, again, it's been the story of their season. Losing to teams like Essendon, but beating like teams like Fremantle within a 2-week span. That is their season.
I wouldn't be surprised. Still got to take the safe bet in Adelaide, though.
I am as well. I think game style, if they play the right way, they'll manage to get over the top of this Giants side. Of course, the Giants do have some nice pillars to work with, but
would have been so much nicer if the Dogs won last week, because then you would have had this game and the St Kilda Gold Coast game.
Luckily for the Crows, I don't think this will be Tex's last home game. I think no matter what happens,
fair point,
he'll be playing a home game. So there may be a bit of resting for Tex. I'm not sure, but of course, still thought we'll need to play a ripper. They've got Fogarty back from his suspension. Of course, they got him back last week, but it'll be very helpful to have him.
Can GWS win this and go above St Kilda, please?
There's a world where it can happen.
Can you guys beat Sydney by like 100 points and us lose to Gold Coast by 100 points?
I don't even think 100 points would do it for us.
I want to fall down to 13th.
I don't think 100 points would do it. It would make us feel good. I don't think anyone at North Melbourne really cares about the draft pick at the moment. No. We just want to win games.
Yeah, but, fair. I don't blame you.
That's irrelevant to the game here. I think the game style, if done right, because the Crows do like to play the old way of just kick it long and hope that their tools make the work happen. But if it's done right, where they attack the middle and use their hands, the Crows will win this one. And I think they'll win it by 23 points.
Going Crows by 1. I don't think there's a whole lot in this. Saints beat Gold Coast on a Thursday night. Primetime Saints.
No.
It's a primetime game, which means Gold Coast win.
Oh, Max Hall will have a ripper, I reckon.
Oh, yeah, he always has rippers, bro. What do you mean?
Yeah, he'll do
get
well.
Off Steele! Nobody cares about you.
No one cares about you, Steele. No.
Anyway, the other games, Carlton-Fremantle. Do you reckon there's a chance Fremantle rest a lot of players and Carlton?
And at Marvel Stadium. Yeah, I reckon there's a chance. Who are you tipping?
Fremantle.
I'm going to tip Carlton. I'm going to swing it that way.
Fair enough.
And see how it goes. I reckon Carlton will do it. Yeah. If there's a time to tip Carlton, it's right now.
Yeah, very true. Geelong, Richmond.
Geelong by 200.
Yeah, very possibly.
Even without all their players.
This could be extremely scary. This could be like Geelong-Melbourne-esque.
As in the Geelong versus Richmond game.
Yeah.
Do you remember last year when Jeremy Cameron was close to 100 and we thought that he would have a bag in this one? Do you reckon maybe they were waiting a year to see if someone... Polkinghorn kicks 10.
Could he kick 30?
Shannon Neal kicks 10.
Win the Coleman.
50? I'm just saying.
Who knows? It's not even going to be close. Essendon Port. Can Essendon win this and get back?
For their sake, let's say yes. But will that put them over the top?
It'd put them into 17th if they win this.
Okay, I think because Essendon are having such a miserable year, they will find a way to do it.
They will absolutely do it.
Essendon are going to win this game.
And they're going to lose first pick. It's going to be so
They're going to win by 30 points. I'm tipping it right now.
Yeah. Swans... I'm going to tip North. You know
I'm
what?
Tip North
Bugger
as well.
it.
Yeah, I'm going to tip North. I feel like
then
it could be a rough week for them.
Yeah, Hawks to absolutely pants Eagles.
Yeah.
And that's home and away done.
We've still got some things to do. This is the final round of footy tips. Someone had a literal perfect round on the second last game of the second last round of the season.
Close the gap.
Perfect round with a perfect margin tip. That is unbelievable. Footy Pirate has put themselves into second spot. and in style, really. But making it Rainer, still sitting at the top.
One different. What's the result that does it this week?
Oh, Sydney North. You reckon?
Could very well.
Oh, no, people. Well, there's going to be too many people who tip North Melbourne.
Yeah, well, I still reckon there's like a chance Nozham coming in. I think
Carlton Freo will do it.
I feel like 2 is the most. I don't think 3 can change it.
Yeah, either way, of course, the prize is still up for grabs for all the people there. And who knows, maybe we see a new name somehow fly up into third position. It's a wild weekend, plenty up for grabs still in the tipping world. But, of course, thank you guys again for watching Zero Access Footy. We're going to come back with some finals content soon as well. Of course, the usual Friday content too that you're going to see from BIM this week. And on top of all that,
I get to review St. Sons.
Yeah, you get to review St. Sons. That's actually hilarious. Either way, appreciate you guys. Be sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new. Follow us on all our socials, as you saw before. We'll see you all in the next episode. Appreciate it, guys.
Peace.